Great.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So welcome everyone to WirfonCloud. This is the 126th session. We're talking today. We're having this career talk and this inspiring story from diplomacy to the clouds. We have here Lilian Shulika Tata, aka Lady S. You get to know why we call her Lady S as we go along. So why are we here today? It's just going to be one of those things that have happened here in from cloud, where, as I said, we demystify the complexities of cloud that any person, irrespective of background, can make it as well. So I will just say our agenda will just mainly to have an introduction, which will be done mainly by Lady S. She'll talk about herself, how joining WirfonCloud, studies at WirfonCloud and the community, other learning resources, her application for jobs, her interviews, what is her current job, other activities, and advice to others and closing, right? So it's going to be a very rich evening. So fasten your seatbelts. And it's going also to be interactive, so it's not going to be a presentation. I think this is the last slide you are going to see for the day. So I'm going to take that off and we'll go straight immediately to start hearing from Shu and what she's got to present to us. So Shu, without much to do, over to you, please. I don't know you. Can you tell us who you are and why? Thank you.
Absolutely. Before I start, please, I know we're new and we're probably camera shy. However, I feel like this is supposed to be interactive and we're supposed to meet and know each other. I feel like I'm just talking to a bunch of names or just a blank
There are
screen.
lots of
It would
people
really,
waiting
really be nice.
to add.
It's okay if you're in bed, you're in your kitchen, you're doing, just please turn on your camera so we can have a nice and fun session. And we can at least, thank you so much. Now that's better. It doesn't matter where you are. We just want to have an interactive session. Please, I'll just give us a few minutes, or no, 1 minute to do that so I can at least put faces to the names as well. This is supposed to be very interactive. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Lashe, I know you're here. You can turn on your camera. Tatiana, Sawir, Cyrus, please just turn on your camera so we can talk and have fun together. Okay. I'm hoping the others can turn them on as we're talking.
If you ask me to turn on my camera, who am I to delay?
Nice. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, let me start. Thank you all for coming to this session. As Informi already said, my name is Lilian Shulika Tata, and fondly called Shulika. I'm a girl from Ban is actually part of family, so it was nice to get to know that my uncle was teaching me cloud computing, or I was in class with my uncle. Where do I start? I usually like to start, even in my interviews, start by saying I'm a mom of 2 girls. I am an author. I have a cloud computing book I wrote about kids. I'm a blogger, content creator. Then to the very interesting part, my former life, I used to be a diplomat. When I say my former life, people are like, how many lives do you have, right? But that is just in a way to say what I did before. I was a diplomat, a Cameroonian diplomat, worked in the United Nations for a while. And eventually through that, I got to know about cloud computing. And that was how I became a cloud enterprise solutions architect, which is my current role with a company called Sargento. It's a food company. So I don't know how much I should say again about introducing who I am. I'm an ambassador for WirfonCloud as well.
Absolutely. I think the other thing is you are one of the few when we started being a community lead also here with WirfonCloud. So you have been a community lead here and now currently definitely, yeah, WirfonCloud ambassador. Yeah, we couldn't make that out. And I think I'll have to add that the gentleman who just said hi and turn on the camera, please, can you come on screen again? Let's see you. Can you say something? Hello. I think you can't hide now because I already saw you.
Because you're already on the spotlight.
You're on the spotlight. You can't go away.
Oh no, I'm not going away. You guys know I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, so put on your camera. So let's see you. That is the husband to Shu, so who is also a WirfonClouder here. So please go ahead and introduce yourself since you are here.
Sure, of course. I'm Lawur Mohammed. I'm sure most of you have no clue, about me. But I'm also one of the folks who benefited a lot from, the lectures here at WirfonCloud. I'm a developer, software engineer by profession, with more than 10 years of experience under my belt. But most of my development had been, wasn't in the cloud environment, but when it came time to embrace the cloud, thankfully WirfonCloud was there, and it did help out a lot, in my journey in embracing the cloud. So happy to have had the opportunity to dial in today and meet most of you, and looking forward to hearing your stories and helping if need be, if and whenever I can.
Great. Thank you very much. We're glad to have you here, and we know how supportive you are, especially to your lovely wife, Shulika.
My study partner.
Right, and study partner. So it's been great having both of you here in the community. So yeah, so let's get to Shu and talk more about. You've just said you were a diplomat. You did kind of get into technology. So just tell us, before joining WirfonCloud, what is it? You're a diplomat. How come you got interested with WirfonCloud? Because we share these links everywhere. Not everyone picks it up, right? So what is it that made you got interested into technology? And then you can move ahead about, of course, tell us about joining WirfonCloud. Yeah.
Absolutely. So at the time when I was working at the United Nations here in New York, one of my research papers was on cyber diplomacy. So the usual thing as a researcher is to search, find resources that would help you connect or write your research or conduct your research. And I was also part of the Bowie Family Union organization down in New Jersey. So there was a day I was just scrolling through the WhatsApp forum and I saw a post made for people who were interested in joining or learning something new in technology, which was cloud computing. And of course, that sparked my interest, considering that I was carrying out research in cyber diplomacy, which had a lot to do with cyber computing at the time. I signed up for the course. I didn't know it was Informe who had sent it. I signed up. And then the very first Zoom meeting that we're invited to, that was how I found out. It was my uncle who had organized it. And interestingly, it was just three people. I think I was with you and Dr. Shigan, if I remember at the time. So the first 2 or 3 sessions was just about 3 of us. And then, we had other 5, later on 5, and it later on became a group of 10 people. So that was how I joined cloud computing. And at the time as well, I was doing project management. So it was an easy way for me to just dive right into cloud computing, taking project management, trying to move into tech, learning things like Scrum, excuse me, being a certified project manager in the field of technology. It was very easy for me to just, slide into the field of technology. And that was just how my cloud computing journey started.
Right. And I
Yeah,
absolutely remember those first days, you were curious and taking notes about everything we did spoke about. So I
exactly.
remember we were in your first day, we were talking about Terraform, you take notes. We are talking about containers, we are taking notes without anything going on at the time. So I think that interest was very high in those early meetings. And this is when we started, we were just doing Saturday sessions. We were not even
Mhm.
yet sure whether we'll be doing classes. So we
Yeah.
were doing Saturday sessions just to encourage people to realize that they can have certifications. Yeah, so
Mm.
that was really interesting. You joining, tell us about finally we did as a group when they launched the AWS launched the AWS Challenge Practitioner. You were one of the first people in the group in WirfonCloud that signed up for it. Do you
Mm.
want to tell us, yeah, your journey in starting now, really being serious and focusing on achieving a goal? Yeah, how was it?
Absolutely.
Mm.
So, if I remember well, when the group grew into about 8, it was later on that 2 other people added towards the end. Our study was it was a very unique way of studying because I think those of us who were part of the group, none of us knew what cloud computing was. It was basically a study group at the time, and all we're trying to do is figure out a way of taking certifications in cloud computing or getting a career in cloud computing. So what we did, all cloud novices, we looked at the curriculum. We all signed up for different courses. One of the courses was Stefan Marek's course on Udemy, and another one was, I think, Adrian Cantrell. So we all signed up for the course, looked at the course curriculum. We split it into different parts. Everybody took a section to go focus on and come to a presentation, right? And those are some of the things that I think really helped as well, because the fact that we were presenting, doing research and presenting on a certain topic gave us skills which today are very, very useful when you're job searching. Those are soft skills, communication, presentation skills. Those are skills that they look for, particularly if you are going to be a solutions architect or are wanting to be a solutions architect. We had, I think, over in Germany or the Europe, the EU zone, classes were beginning at 5 a.m. or so before people went to work. And for those of us who were in the United States, that was like midnight till 1:30 a.m. And at the time, it was a very difficult time because you had to figure out how to battle work, um, get your family together, and then still study, you know. I think I just had my baby, they call them cloud babies today
Yeah,
at the time. And every night we attended classes with my babies. Hopefully, I'm just wishing by then they could understand what cloud computing was. Maybe they'll be cloud certified, right? So
yeah.
it used to just really be a very fun time meeting new people, Lady T, Yolande, and all that. We all got together within 2.5 to 3 months. We took our certified cloud practitioner exam, and the whole cohort made it, which was very, very encouraging to everyone. And immediately we went back to the second certification, which is the solutions architect. We adopted the same study schedule and still shared the work amongst ourselves. The next thing we did was those who well, with our leader, of course, we have a very enthusiastic and dynamic leader. He was like, okay, we cannot just, let this, oh, just 1 second. I think my laptop
Battery,
battery, I don't know
that can
why.
happen.
Just 1 second, let me,
Absolutely, that's fine.
yeah.
Right.
Um,
So she was just talking about how the very first cohort ran. I think you can already have an idea because for most of you, you are coming this time, you're having classes, we are teaching you, except for those who moved and go to the consulting where we start asking people to do presentations. Um, we realized along the line that not everyone could do because everyone, I think there are some people here, if you ask them now to go and read a topic and come and present, they will never be able to make it. So back in the days when we started, those who joined the very first group, each person did a presentation of a topic, and I was just more of like just helping facilitate, coordinate, and come in when necessary, right? So that is where we were on what she was touching on. So yeah, I
Yeah,
hope you are back. Your things are reset now. So go ahead, Shu, continue from where you
right.
stop. Yeah.
So if I remember, I think the topic I presented in where had two topics, security and identity, and then databases. And luckily for me, the fact that I researched on those topics and made presentations, prepared the slides, it really gave me that upper hand to kind of be, I don't want to say an expert, but to be very knowledgeable because I went deep into understanding those concepts of security, identity, and databases. So even till today, if you wake me up from sleep, it's easier for me to just start talking to you about security, I am, and all that. So those are some of the advantages that that gave to us. We went to the next cohort and decided, our leader, Banjika, decided to bring in a second cohort whom we were training at the time. So we're basically just giving back, to the community. And that is the advantage that you all have because now you're not just self-studying, you have a guided study and you have people who are already experts in the field.
I'm in the class.
You have people who are experts in the field and who understand what cloud computing is and can give you a better direction of how to navigate your cloud journey. So yeah, that was just what my studies were,
Right. Right. No, great. I just want to also indicate that please feel free to come in if you have a question or have a point to make. We want to make this very interactive. I think you pointed out the issue of presentations, which I want to point out here, especially for those who have moved to the WirfonCloud Consulting. We are already setting study groups and we are going to be looking forward for people to actively do presentations, not because we cannot teach those courses, just because of that emphasis you have brought. We want people, you cannot work in IT today without, if you can do a 5 minutes presentation, it is absolutely important. So you can all hear from that. But I want you, Shu, to just this is something many people struggle from.
Yeah.
And maybe you can already touch on it, the idea of time difference, the idea of scheduling, right? Many people here are parents, many people here are working, right, in the morning, coming back, at times some don't attend the full classes, and they struggle with this. And maybe how were you able to, I mean, as you have, some people may underestimate this, but you had a baby, your first child was born actually here in the cloud. You have the second one in the cloud right here. All of them, you've been taking care of them. I remember we were having classes. So maybe you want to touch on how do you manage your time in a very fast changing world and still be able to do the things you can do. For those who always feel like I don't even have time, how have you done that?
So one thing I say is discipline. You have to be disciplined. And if you define your goals and you know what you want to achieve in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, you have to be time conscious and you have to make the time. We are the ones who, choose not to make that time. And why I say this is because most times when we wake up from bed, what is the first thing we do? You're checking your phone, your WhatsApp messages, or the least moment you have, the least break you have, you're on your phone, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. What helped me at the time was, at a certain point, I had to shut out of social media for about 6 months when I was preparing for my solutions architect. And the only app I had on my phone was LinkedIn because I needed to get resources, share what I'm doing, share the projects I'm working on, to expose myself to recruiters so they see your progress, which is something I also highly recommend you do. But then it's very important that you set your goals and set a timeline for achieving those goals. Those are some of the things that are very, very useful. When you set your goals and set a timeline, it becomes easier for you to manage your time. When we were studying, Udemy courses, Udemy has an app you can download on your phone and you can listen to it. You can listen to it basically anywhere. So when we were cooking with my partner, Lawir, when we were cooking, I played a Udemy course. When I'm cleaning, I play a Udemy course and I'm listening to something. When we're driving, instead of listening to music, we played Udemy courses and we were listening to the studies. So that was how it helped us maximize the time we had, and eventually got us a very shorter time to take the certifications and be where we are today. So it's just all about discipline. It's all about discipline, setting your goals, setting your timelines, choosing the right time to do something, and shutting yourself out of things which do not add any value into your life. So those are some of the tips that I would say. And for that to happen, you have to be very, very disciplined. The second thing is consistency. Consistency. I kid you not, if you take your cloud certification, your practitioner exam today, and you wait to take your solutions architect in the next 6 months, 1 year, you would have to go back to those basics because you would have forgotten what you learned earlier on. It's very easy. But once you're consistent and you keep up studying with time, it becomes very, very easy for you to just understand the concepts, keep the pace going. And it's also self-motivating because when you measure the progress you've made for yourself, you see how much you are able to accomplish in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months. You're pushed, you're motivated to do more, right? So it's just some of those things that, you have to put together,
Right.
particularly if you're choosing to pursue a certain career.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely great. I think 3 things. This self-discipline is very important. Setting your goals, where you want to get into, and consistency. Let's hear from Christian. Please come in and ask your question, or so that she'll pick. And after that, we'll move straight to other learning resources. We have touched some of that, and yeah. So go ahead, Serge. The floor is yours.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Serge. I've been around. I'm always in and out due to time issues. Lady T, good evening. My question for you is, you're coming from diplomacy to a tech background. Do you have a previous background in IT, first of all? And the second thing, do you actually been in the cloud space now? Is that something that you wish you would have known before actually being a diplomat?
Those are very tricky and very, very nice questions. So thank you for asking those questions, Christian. Just to be clear, diplomacy has got nothing to do with technology, because diplomacy, as they want to preserve it, or as it is preserved, it's a very traditional way of doing things. It's basically international relations, if you know what that is, bilateral relations, trying to create relationships with other countries, building partnerships, learning about other country histories, conventions, mastering dates, and all that. So this really had nothing completely to do with technology. So no, I had no background in technology. I wasn't a science student. I did nothing that concerned science. I had not taken any technology classes before till I started my master's here. So I had no interest, or had never even thought in my life that I would be talking about cloud computing or anything that had to do with technology today. Now, to your second question, had I wished I knew about cloud computing a long time ago? I would say yes and no. And yes, because where I am today, if I look at the progress I've had, I don't want to dismiss my diplomacy background because it did play a lot. All the soft skills that I learned while doing diplomacy today are the things that give me an upper hand when I'm applying for jobs today, to be honest. So that is the no part, because that has played a huge, and gives me an upper hand when I'm applying for jobs. When people say you're a diplomat, the first thing is she must probably have communication skills, presentation skills. She should know how to consult and talk to clients, because that's what a lot of what you do when you're a diplomat. So you have a lot of soft skills that you bring from your background. Now, about the progress, would I have wished I knew about it a long time ago as well? I would say yes, because I feel like it's giving me the satisfaction that I would have wanted to have in a job that I did not really necessarily have when I was a diplomat. And because it's also pushing me to learn a lot. Technology is something that if you're building a career in technology, it's something that's going to take a very long time, almost for the rest of your life, because it's a fast changing world. There's different things that you have to learn as you're learning cloud computing, right? This is to just say that you're not going to learn everything at the same time. Even on the job, you're still going to be learning. Your job is still going to need you to take certain certifications. So at this point, it's like, if it's something I had done before, maybe by now I'll be somewhere in a leadership ladder with my technology, in my technology career. But I'm still happy where I am today. I just wish I had really found out about it or had taken the step I wanted, because I remember when I just got here, my partner was really pushing me to, take courses, start being, he wanted me to be a software developer. So he was the one who actually introduced me indirectly into technology, because I took some Python classes. He taught me Java, introductory courses to Java, and that was what even pushed me to decide to do my PhD research in cyber diplomacy. Because when he was teaching me all that, considering diplomacy was just a traditional thing, we started thinking of, is there a way that countries can even, connect through the internet, which was kind of impossible, or which is kind of impossible in diplomacy till COVID came in. And COVID came to, just challenge all the convention and things that were happening in the diplomatic field. And I just wish I had published my paper at the time. Maybe I'll not be sitting here talking to you. I'll be at CNN, or some other African
No, we're happy.
organization. But
Yeah.
anyway, that was just to say that it's a yes and a no.
Right. No,
Yeah.
we're happy you didn't. We will have missed all the energy you bring in here. So we're glad to have you. So let's talk again about learning resources.
May I
Um,
jump in here really quick?
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's with relation to the question he asked if she had any IT background or what. So she answered from the perspective of someone who didn't have. So I'm also just gonna, touch on something really quick from the perspective of someone who had that background, right? So in school, I did sciences, I did engineering, and even masters in computer science. I was working as a software engineer. By the time we started with WirfonCloud, I already had several years of experience under my belt. But during the course, right, those other folks who had absolutely no background in IT, there were times when, when there were times I felt like they were doing a lot better than me, or that they were grabbing the concepts a lot better than me, right? And so that's just to affirm to what she's saying, that and you must have been hearing others say the same thing as well.
Yeah.
You do not necessarily need an IT or a science background to understand cloud computing.
Yeah.
You don't.
Absolutely.
So if there is anybody who is still having any doubts that, hey, I don't have, does it help? Yes, definitely it does help, because there will be some concepts you already know. But if you don't have at all, I don't think that's something to
It's not a
worry about.
showstopper. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. It's definitely not a showstopper. Right.
Mhm.
Thanks for that. Let's continue on the conversation. I think we've already heard about some learning resources. You mentioned the course from Stefan. You mentioned Andrea and Country. What other resources did you use apart from apart from the work we were doing and studying together? What other things were you using as resources to be ready as you were studying?
Yeah, so a lot of the other resources I used were AWS resources. I'm just going to share this link. It's a link I made to share because I've had this question so many times. So I did put it in my blog, and I also shared some of these resources on a YouTube video I made. I'm going to share it on the chat, or maybe someone can help me drop it. AWS Skill Builder, that is an absolute yes for a resource for you to use. We have Cloud Quest. Cloud Quest is a gaming, it's a game-like environment that AWS built for you to, practice or learn whatever it is you want to learn on the cloud console. If you're a solutions architect, you want to be a database engineer, it's basically tailored for you to go build. They can tell you to build a city or design a city as a solutions architect. So they give you instructions, assign you a role as a solutions architect. And what happens is when you pick up that role, they give you the requirements. You have to meet with maybe the city council, the mayor, they're going to tell you what exactly they want for you to build. They give those requirements, you go do your research, you start choosing. The next step, you start choosing what resource you're going to use to build that environment. So you're basically acting as a robot.
Right.
Okay. But designing that environment. I would say absolutely use Cloud Quest. It was very, very resourceful to me. Then we also have AWS Educate. We have AWS Training. So I'll share a link where I have YouTube University.
YouTube.
We have YouTube University, as they call it.
You remember we used to say rather than watching soap just play YouTube.
Just play YouTube
continuously.
And listen, and listen to some of those things. And YouTube has some very amazing cloud resources that you can learn from as well. So YouTube should be your friend, should be your partner. Another resource that was very helpful was Michael Gibbs' Go Cloud platform. Where he also helps train people on interview processes. So he had given some vouchers to WirfonCloud, which were free. I benefited from it. Attended some of the design classes because that was one thing I was really lacking on, how to use C# to actually design a logical environment, So those were the things I used. So Master, GitHub, Lucidchart, what are some of those other things? As we go, I have them written somewhere.
Draw.io, Miro.
Draw.io. Those are things and they're very interesting, very, very interesting. As you learn or as you join the community, which I'm highly, highly hoping everyone here is going to be part of the cohort. Trust me, you have an upper hand being here because you're learning from experts and people who have been there and are giving you what they know. In our time, we were self-taught, basically. So right now you have people who are giving you direction on how to go. So they have all these resources they're going to share with you. And I also dropped the YouTube link for the resources I shared if you're interested in them on the chat. You can also subscribe to the channel. I shall be sharing a lot of cloud computing resources as well from my time learning and from what is changing
as we go along.
Cloud computing world, exactly.
No, absolutely, I'm sure we're going to talk more again about your YouTube channel and blog right at the end. So just keep that a moment. I want us to move straight to talking about your job applications because people always, when they have these certifications, and then the next step is, how do I get a job? But I think you have not yet mentioned completely. You've had all these resources. What were the certifications you had? Then from there, we'll talk about your job hunting experience, which is a major area. So do you want to touch on the certifications you've had using all these resources?
Absolutely. So let me brag a little. I have 3 certifications, which are focused on cloud computing: the Certified Cloud Practitioner, the Solutions Architect Associate, and one of the most difficult certifications in cloud computing, the Solutions Architect Professional. So those are the certifications I have. Apart from that, I'm also Scrum certified, PSM certified. So it's just a lot of other little certifications that I took, which were going to be helpful. CyberArk, machine learning, introduction to machine learning, AI. Just on my LinkedIn page, I have some of those certifications there, but those that are useful to you, 3 certifications, Cloud Practitioner, Associate, and the Professional.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. So tell us about, you had these certifications, and the next question is, when did you start feeling comfortable to go job hunting? And what was your process and method you use? Especially for some people who maybe have had certifications. I know there's also, your time was also a rough time. We have
Yeah.
moved to a more advanced time, with the NTTD data collaboration. So
Yeah.
you were just like running in the wild. But just tell us about job hunting. For some people, it happened very fast. For some people, it doesn't. Maybe just tell us your own process, how long it took, and just start, and then I think we'll catch up on there.
Right. So this is the part that was very rocky in the beginning before eventually, but as I was heading into the clouds, like you said, this was going to be not a very straight flight, right? I think when I started applying was when I started studying for the professional certification. When I had the solutions architect certification, I did send out a couple of resumes, which were not very much welcome. Some recruiters would call me, and the kind of questions that they would ask, I was not comfortable talking about them. I would just speak a lot of theory, and they wanted you to speak in practical terms, basically. So when I understood that, I had to take a step back and reassess or reanalyze my strategy. Because again, my path was not the very traditional one where you're joining a community like this that has designed a roadmap for you. We had to figure out how to go, right? So I had to come back, started with the professional certification, took a lot of hands-on labs should be your friend. Took a lot of hands-on projects, used agent controls projects on GitHub, practiced so many of them, and got comfortable designing. Once I could sit and actually design a whole logical framework in the cloud, that was where I felt comfortable going back to the market and applying. And that was around November. I think, was it 2021 or 2020? I don't quite remember. But it was in November, and by July, I got a job. So I started applying in November. In December, I got my professional certification, took more interviews, and the interview process, oh my God. Now, let me start with the resources I used. LinkedIn, they have this thing, easy apply. But I bet you that is not the best way to go. I would talk from experience. When you see easy apply on LinkedIn, before you're applying, you have about 200 people applying to the same job. That is not the best route to use. Use LinkedIn, but use it wisely. I also used Glassdoor, levels.fyi. There's a community I joined, Women in Cloud, which if a woman is here and you're going to be part of the cloud computing world, I would highly recommend you join it on LinkedIn. The Mom Project is another one, then DICE. I would also share these resources with you later. These are some of the resources I used to apply, put out a lot of application. And one thing that was difficult, when I started, I was using one template to apply to every job I saw. So a lot of people were not calling you because you would use a template and the job requirements are different. Every organization, what I noticed was that every organization had its way of defining who a solutions architect is and what they want in a solutions architect. So you have to design your resume and tailor it to what that organization needs. So for every job you apply, especially the jobs that you really think you'd be a great fit for, take time and just readjust your resume to suit the job requirements for that organization. It's really, trust me, it's really going to make a huge difference. Another trick I used, which got me interviews, was that I would research, if I saw a company posted a job, I would see who in that company is a friend of mine or follows me on LinkedIn. Look at their profile, and I'll write to them directly and tell them, hey, I'm in the job market. Can you refer me to this job ID in your company? Some of them will do it, others will not, but it takes nothing from you to do that, right? And most of those that I wrote to, about 70 or 80% of them did reply. And that was an easier way for me as well to practice for my interviews. Practice. Now let's talk about practice. Practice is very important. Practicing to talk in an interview, practicing to know what to say when a question is asked in an interview is very important. So when you start, don't shy away from taking those interviews. Take as many as you can and practice answering those questions. I recorded every interview of mine so that when I come back, I'll re-listen to what I said and hear the parts where I was missing, then repractice it and change the strategy, right? And sometimes, even if I don't get something, I'll just write back to them when you're writing your thank you note, ask for feedback. And here you don't know if they're going to retain you or not, but just ask them for feedback. Hey, we had this interview. I would really appreciate it if you can give me feedback on how to improve or some of the things I said which were not. And most of it was theory. It's a lot of theory. We need practice, we need practical hands-on, we need practical. So they know the difference when you're just cloud certified versus when you have worked on a job or on projects. Because when you're talking on projects, instead of just defining terms, you're telling them how you used those terms in a project you worked on, right? So it's very easy for them to determine that this candidate is just someone who is fresh from understanding concepts and someone who has used them or implemented them in a project. And that is why I highly, highly recommend taking hands-on labs. Highly recommend that.
Right.
What else? Some companies will give you 5 levels of interviews. Actually, the time where I went to 5, I was at the last one where you're talking to the CE level, the C-suite executives, and at the end of the day, they don't retain you, right? So you just have to be consistent, be patient. The right job for you would come. Yeah. And I think from the time I started applying was about 6 to 7 months to when I got my job.
Right. That's great. That's great. I think some few things I want to highlight before we continue here, and I especially for most people who are joining, for most people who are looking for jobs, these are some of the things that we learned, because when WirfonCloud started, we were just showing people you can have certifications. Those are people who came in like a shoe. After people had certifications, we were like, okay, yeah, people should have jobs. And with all these experiences, we introduced WirfonCloud Labs, which comes up every Tuesday evenings and Friday evenings. We always repeat many times here, if you really want to break through, you need WirfonCloud Labs. Most people who have been 24/7 on WirfonCloud Labs have always ended up with a job, right? That's and you can hear from her experience, she's re-emphasizing the need of labs. During our trainings that we do Tuesdays to Fridays, we try as much as possible to cover theory the first 3 days and then try to do a lab session on Friday. Again, just to emphasize this, to emphasize the importance of labs. But even in what we do in the sessions, is still not enough, because the only time you can really know if you can do something is when you sit back, when no one is guiding you, and do it yourself. So this is all the things we have always said. And I think for most of you who are coming from the Python workshop, I repeated this so many times. You either practice the Python workshop, make sure that you understand it. The good thing I always say is, remember, we're using this technology, we are not designing it. There's a whole set of guidance on how to use S3, a whole set of guidance on how to use Lambda. So if you start using it and you don't know, go back and read the guide and try to use it. So WirfonCloud Labs is a very, what we have is very important. I think we have really been blessed with some of the most patient instructors into your field. And of course, Tatiana, who is here with us. I'm not sure if Tio is already here. So Tatiana leads the beginner sessions every Tuesday evenings, as well as Tio is leading the advanced sessions every Friday. We've been doing WirfonCloud projects. We have done 2-3 series, which is again trying to let people experience what it means to work in a project scenario. We have done the WirfonCloud projects. Barry, I don't know, is Barry here with us? Who leads the Scrum team for the project? So we always have when people pass the solutions architect, as you said, we bring 4 to 5 people, including Scrum Masters that are also trained here, and then they practice what it means to take a project from point A to the end, right? And we do stand-ups and you experience all of that. We use the Jira board. So these are some of the things that we bring in. And the next phase of WirfonCloud has been now the WirfonCloud Consulting, where it's really something that is taking us to a different another level. So I'm just emphasizing this. We'll always repeat this. If you are not doing enough hands-on, you are going to struggle. And then making use of WirfonCloud projects to belong into the team. The experience, we have Pride here who after doing that got his job. We have others here who have really found that very important. Then the other point of LinkedIn, don't wait till the end before you create a LinkedIn profile. To build a network, it takes time, right? Don't expect that you are going to do your certifications, create a LinkedIn profile, have all your certifications, and then you just have people, and then you have built a network. It takes time. So we have been recommending that everyone at least create a LinkedIn profile and try to be building your network. Look at interesting people, follow them. You never know. You may be looking for a job one day, and one person you are connected with and you already have a kind of relationship with can be the person to refer you, right? And creating networking doesn't just mean going in and just say trying to connect. When you connect with someone, try to write a message, comment about the post they have done. It takes so much time. So these are some of the tips that we always encourage people to pick early on. And then as you move along, continue to build on that. So should this talk a lot about, I'm coming back to you about your job hunting, you've talked again already about your interview experience, and you have mentioned a lot about some of the tools you use, right? And I'm just wondering still yet, like, how did you handle rejection, right? Because this is where some people, after some time, after applying 2 or 3 times, they feel like maybe they start thinking this field is not for me, right? And this is where people have to understand that you've mentioned patience, but at times we need to elaborate on this. Maybe you can share your experience on when you went that far or you had the fit, right? Go to the fit interview and then they say no, you come back, you have kids. I could imagine you are not working full time. The kind of support system you have. How do you handle this kind of rejection in situations like that? How did you handle it, and what advice would you give?
Yeah. So rejection sucks, right? And it hurts so bad, especially when it's almost like when you're at the finals of a game and you think you're going to win. You score at the 90th second, they come and your opponent scores, and right at that point, it's like, okay, you're losing when you already had all the hopes that you're going to win, and when everyone has given you hopes that you're going to be the candidate. That hurt, I would not lie. And at that point, I didn't understand. I'm just going to be very honest here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I didn't understand why I had to go through 3 months of 5 different levels of interviews, and at the end of it, I'm not being taken. And they did come back with some package of saying, we're keeping you in our resource network, and you have this number of credits to take this training in our platform. To me, at that point, that wasn't interesting anymore, because some of the people I spoke to, they were like, okay, at this point, if you were all left to me, you're the candidate. And let's just see where you get to the C-level suite. It hurt. I literally paused interviewing for other organizations for 3 months. And I think that was one thing that took me a very long time, because I was already sure that, okay, I'm going to invest all my resources with this one organization that is very promising. And it's a dream organization I've wanted to work in a long time. And I don't mind just focusing all my resources to prepare just for that organization, which is maybe probably a mistake I made. I should have continued taking my interviews for the other ones. And another thing that I didn't mention was that most of the jobs that I applied to and that I thought that I was qualified for were mostly government jobs, and they needed you to be a citizen. I wasn't a citizen by then. So I still had to deal with, so I was working with a very small niche of job search, right? I had to find a job that was right for my work document. I had to find a job that would accept me. Take, sorry.
Yes,
I had to
Hanifa?
find a job that, yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Mhm.
Yeah, and I had to find something that would work for, so I wasn't just a direct candidate or citizen who could apply for anything. I was working with a very small niche. So anytime I found something, I think I went through 4 interviews or so, or 5 interviews within this period of time. And here in the US, interviews are not just 1 month, 2 months, and you're done. No, it takes a while, right? When a recruiter reaches out to you, they will talk to you, they want to schedule either next week or the next 2 weeks for your first interview. You have those 2 weeks to prepare. After 2 weeks, they will say, okay, they're going to schedule you for another next 2 weeks or 2 weeks of interview. So it's something that takes a while, right? And when I got something that took me to the 3rd, to the 4th, and to the final round, I'm like, okay, let me just focus all my resources here. That was one of the most hurtful things that happened to me last year. I almost even quit the other job I had because I was like, well, I don't see why I will not be a candidate, you know. So one thing I would advise is you have to accept that as you're going into the job market, you will get a lot of rejection. Just take that as part of the process. And don't make the mistake I made by just focusing on one job because I thought I was going to, you know, make it till the end, right? Don't focus on that. Even if you're the last candidate, keep sending out applications, keep talking to other organizations. And like they said, the right one will be there for you. If they reject you, it's okay. The rejection comes, move to the next, just put it aside, move to the next one. Take the experience you had from that one, what you learned from it, and move to the next one. And one thing I can tell you is I'm not sure I'd have been as happy as I was, to be honest, today in the other organization with the kind of job description they actually had, because I would have had a lot of learning to do there than with my current role, where I'm just doing the direct things that I'm implementing the things that I learned. And I'm instead becoming, I'm adding more value to the company than becoming an asset to the company, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So sometimes take rejection as a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes take rejection as a blessing. And a lot of what I learned in the other one and the presentations I made right to the C-level suit, that was what got me my job in this second company, which had me just 2 interviews. It had me just 2 interviews and I was taken, right? So again, just accept that rejection is going to come at so many levels. Don't let that be a breakdown moment for you. Let it be an encouragement for you and then move to the next, you know.
Right. I really appreciate that. And one thing I want to add here is I think the key takeaway, which is where people always start having problems, is rejection is part of the process. I'm just echoing and repeating what Shu has said. Be surprised if you have it the first time, but in your mind, know that rejection is going to be part of the process. I think it's almost in every field where when you try, I don't remember people who move, because some people are having the conception that I've noticed, and I always try not to set, I mean, I'm honest here with WirfonCloud. I always tell people you should take about 8 to 9 months to, from fundamentals to your certifications. And then after that, make sure that you understand the kind of role you want and then build on that, right? Some people already ask, I'll just start seeing, okay, maybe immediately I finish, I'll have a job. I cannot say no. There are people who have done that, but you have to be willing to realize that you are going to be rejected. You are going to maybe almost feel like breaking, but what's important is you shouldn't quit, right? If once you invest the time, if you understand this market, the cloud computing industry is going to grow by 2013, from where it is now. I think I had that standard that statistics with Thierry. I don't want to quote it, but it's going to grow in so much amount. If you look at AWS now, they are investing a lot in other fields like generative AI, like data engineering, and there are no people to occupy the current jobs that are available. Data is going in 2025 is going to grow so much that the number of data engineers that can handle that are not available. So if you understand the market, and here we always try to look at what's current as we see in our premium group, you realize that the job can only delay, but it cannot completely not be there for you. You have to just be patient. You have to be persistent. And that's very, very crucial. So thank you for bringing the importance of accepting rejection as a process and never giving up. That really did help you. You've talked about your job and you really find it interesting. Let's talk about your job. I think that's where you want to move now and talk a little bit about tell us what are you doing in your job, and then yeah, just for people to understand that you have switched, you have been able to move and learn cloud computing, and now you have a job as an architect, enterprise architect.
Yeah.
So tell us, what do you do at Sagento Foods?
Okay. So I'll start with something that I had said earlier on. As an enterprise solutions architect, one of the roles or one thing that I'm assigned to do is to help design the company's cloud technology architecture and their cloud roadmap, right? And my company is a company, it's existed for about 75 years, and they are still looking to move to the cloud. They are fully on premises. They're looking to move to the cloud, and they're hiring experts to help them make that migration to the cloud. So it's a very heavy migration project. So what are the things? A lot of consultation. They have about 300 third-party clients that we have to consult with. So lots of consultations, lots of presentations. My very first assignment was to do a presentation and get buy-in from our stakeholders in different departments. Again, this is where presentation skills come in very, very handy. And not that I really want to brag, but I think I've gained the rights to. This is something that has been ongoing for about 4 years now within that company. And when I came in and did my own presentation, the stakeholders we did get buy-in from the stakeholders. And that was one thing that propagated me to a certain level, right? When I insist on presentation skills, maybe you would want to ignore how important that is and the kind of work that goes into presentation and what you have to do into presentation. Those of you who are new, pick up presentation as much as possible, because as a solutions architect, almost every month, well, depending on the kind of job you have, except you're like an infrastructure engineer or cloud engineer where you're mostly going to be doing the configurations. But if you're going to be on the consulting part, you're going to have lots of presentations to do, which is something we do almost every month. So pick up presentation skills and communication skills as much as possible. And also know that you're going to be communicating to a variety of audience, different types of audience that has an idea of what cloud computing is, those who don't even know what cloud computing is, and your language has to be different. These are some questions that I also had during my interview process. I'll tell you, they'll ask you, how would you present to an audience that probably has no idea what cloud computing is? Or some of them have an idea what cloud computing is, or the others don't. How would you talk to them if you were brought in to talk about cloud? This question, I had it, I think, in 3 or 4 of my interviews, right? So this is something that you'd also have to learn. It's just some of the tips that I'm trying to give you now as you start working or preparing for your cloud journey. So know how to present to different groups of people with cloud computing knowledge who are experts, where you have to go deeper into explaining these concepts. Then most of what we do as well is discovering on-premises servers and trying to map them to the cloud servers, choosing the right EC2 instances to use, building control towers, landing zones to start testing our migration processes. And we are adopting a hybrid cloud infrastructure. And then we're also going to have a hyper-converged cloud infrastructure. So these are some things that we're trying to figure out within the company and working a lot with Amazon consultants as well, to get everything working and have our migration going.
Great, great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the best experience you can land into, where they are still on-prem. You really see the whole process of helping them move to the cloud and then staying on to maybe continue leading that. Right. Some people always get a job when a company is already in the cloud and they miss that vital part. So it's really great to hear. And yeah, so definitely all the best on that area. I think we've talked so much. I think this conversation can go for so long. I know that we're already been talking for almost an hour, but I want us to be moving close to, I want to remind everyone that Shulika here is on LinkedIn. We are going to talk very soon about her blog and her YouTube channel, where you can also reach out to her. She's part of WirfonCloud Ambassador and will always be here. She's already looking on areas she can help people individually. So that's something that will be coming up. And if you stay in the community, you'll definitely get her assistance. But maybe we should move and just talk about other activities you do, right? I think if that's okay now, if you talk about WirfonCloud, your role as WirfonCloud Ambassador, which I think everyone can already recognize. You brought someone here today. So talk about what you do for WirfonCloud Ambassador, and then, we'll get to talk more about your blog and others.
Basically, as an ambassador, just like being a diplomat for my country, is to preach the word and make it known to the world what WirfonCloud is, how you can benefit from WirfonCloud, what we do, mentorship opportunities we have, how we can help you join the cloud. I think it's pretty obvious. And when I started, I was a community lead, a WirfonCloud community lead. And then one thing that was also helpful, we got to get the
All Builders Grant.
The All Builders Grant, exactly, and became Amazon community builders, which is a very huge community or network that is just wonderful, So that's basically what I do as a WirfonCloud community lead. And one thing I know, they say for Cameroonians, if you want to hide money from Cameroonians or even from Africans, put it in a book or write it in a document, because they hardly read it. But I did try writing a blog. A lot of people, I got feedback. A lot of people were requesting a video because they said it's easier for them to just listen to a video somewhere instead of sitting and reading. I know it's a habit that we as Cameroonians still need to build. And when I started my blog, that was the aim, which is still ongoing, because that is a resource that is always going to be there, right? For reference. It's like a reference resource for people coming in. All about cloud resources, starting your cloud journey, what resources to use, what not to use, how I can navigate myself, a cloud roadmap, how to be a cloud engineer or DevOps engineer or solutions architect. So I'm just sharing all those resources with the blog and the YouTube channel as well. I think I have this, which I'm not shared. This is a series, a cloud computing book I'm writing for kids. It's a storybook, and it was actually inspired by my cloud babies. It just tells you a story of cloud computing, and it introduces kids to cloud computing in a very fun manner. I present it in the form of a playground, introduce cloud terms and concepts to it. So you can read it to your kids. I read it to my kids every night. They basically know it by the word now. They know a lot of cloud computing words just by reading this book. And it's just a fun way to introduce kids to cloud computing.
Right.
It's a whole series that is going to go to I'll talk about everything: storage, security. We'll be releasing the security one, but this is the basic introduction. And fortunately for me, when we were in Las Vegas for the cloud conference for reInvent, I was very fortunate to get this book into the hands of the
CEO.
The CEO of Amazon Web Services, and he was super appreciative of it. So it's just little things you do that are recognized at different levels, and
Right. Right. Yeah, I think due to time, I know you have a busy schedule coming up. With your time schedule there, let's just wrap up. I don't know if there are any questions, but I want us to wrap up on your general closing, right? Just talk about for those who are already in the path, some are joining new, we're starting the course. Just tell us what are your like final advice that people should take, especially after listening to you. Yeah.
Right. So I'll start by just restating some of the things that I said. Determination, discipline, consistency, setting your goals, setting timelines, finding someone to be accountable to or to be accountable for. It could be a group of people, it could be WirfonCloud. One of the things I really wish I had when I started my cloud journey was belonging to a group that could already design a roadmap for me, like WirfonCloud does, and actually choosing the right labs for the right role that you're looking to, or for the right career you're looking into, right? That's something I wish I had, because it would have saved me so much time. And that is why I say you're very lucky to be here at this time, because you have a group of experts who already know what you need to do to get from A to Z, right? So you have that. It reduces the work for you. Hands-on projects, that should be your best friend. Even when you just start, create as many EC2 instances as you can, as many times as you can, create as many IAM roles as you can. These are things that would really set you up, because once you do it, it sticks into your mind. It's almost like knowing how to navigate your computer, knowing how to go to this folder and pull up this document from this folder, or getting this one, or how to sign up to where. It's as easy as that, because when you practice more, you learn more about it. Then always ask for help. When we started, Ban can tell you, I asked the most stupid questions of my life. Yeah. They will tell you that. And just know that no question is stupid. Don't
Especially
shy away.
WirfonCloud.
At WirfonCloud, don't shy away from asking a question because you think people will look at you as being dumb or dull. Ask the most stupid question, and I bet you 80% of people in class would benefit from that question. They are just shy to ask, or they're just afraid to ask because they think, oh, they'll come. Just ask your questions. One other thing that can help: don't look for immediate results. That's one most important thing I tell people. Most times when people want to start a career, they're looking at, okay, how long is it going to take for me to get a job? When you tell them it takes you even 3 months to get your certification before you start applying for jobs, they're like, that long? Of course, it's a career. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a place where you just dive in and you start making money. It's a career you're building. And if you're building a career, it's going to be for a lifetime. And just know that you're going to study and learn as you go throughout your life. Till today, every time I am still studying something new. I am still learning something new. They're bringing up new EC2 instances. Amazon is introducing new things almost every single month, and you have to keep up with them. If I want to be a security specialist tomorrow, because I don't think I want to be stagnant on one job for the next 5-10 years, that's where you have to set your goals. If I want to grow the leadership ladder tomorrow or be a security specialist tomorrow, I have to start learning on taking my security certification. So it's a learning curve that helps you grow to where you want to be tomorrow. Don't jump in and just think that in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, I'm going to get a job and start making 6 figures like everybody's wanting. Don't let that pressure get into you, because I bet you're going to fail and you're going to give up. And that's something you do not want. Take this as an investment, as an educational investment to yourself. Like you studied for 3 years in the university. I'm not saying you're going to take 3 years. No, that's just an example to say, use this and take this learning path as an investment. And don't let pressure suck you in, because it is value that you're creating for yourself. It's a career that you're building for the rest of your life. as you go. And I bet you for the rest of that, your life, as you go through your journey, every year you're going to learn something new. Every year you're going to add something new. So for this period of time, say you set a goal for 6 months or for 1 year, just make sure that you get the right mentor whom you already have here in the form of Banjika. You have others, you have you have Lawir, I'm right here, you have Tatiana, Lachey, basically your WirfonCloud
Aqua,
ambassadors.
yeah.
Yeah, you have used those as your mentors and always reach out to them. Ask questions, make sure that you're getting the right skills you can to get the job that you want right now. And also, you might ask, but how do I know the kind of job I want, or how do I know the right skills to get? When you start, they're going to give you those resources. And then the next thing is, as you go to the market, make sure that you're always looking at jobs they post. Look at what is required for those jobs. That will give you direction on the kind of skills you want to get. And I bet you within the next year or 2 years, you'll be surprised at where you are and the kind of growth you learn. So just focus on creating value, enjoy the process, don't be overwhelmed, don't give up, because you would only give up when you think this is becoming too much for me. I'm not achieving the goals I wanted. It's taking too long for me to get to start making money or to get to where I wanted to be, because you see your friends getting there. No, everyone is different. Everyone has a different learning path.
Yeah.
Everyone absorbs information in a different way and processes information in a very different way.
Mhm.
So know yourself, choose your path, and tailor your path to who you are. And make sure that you find a mentor or someone who would help you through that journey. And trust me, you'll put yourself on the right path.
Great
I think I should be a
advice.
motivational speaker.
Great part. Definitely.
Okay,
You know
sorry.
your head. No, that's you really on the spot on. And yeah, no, that is exactly, I think, for those who want to know more on Before Cloud Consulting, especially on helping people figure out where they want to be. Leo is here, is your contact person. And we did talk about that. And that's it's great. Shu has brought so much in this area of the process that you need. I cannot just believe you coming into WeForm Cloud early on and was just bumping us with questions. And today, when you are speaking, I'm just like, this is completely different. And this shows the transformation, right? From that the moment you joined here and we were just very few, and today where you are, it's just been a very transformative journey. And for you to come in to share this experience for others to learn from, I think it's a big plus. And playing a role for WirfonCloud Ambassador, you really make us feel here like, I don't know what it would have been if there was no WirfonCloud. Maybe you would have still been out there trying to figure out. But before we go, I know that you have to go. I see you have a nice cup there behind you, AWS. What do you want to do with that? It's looking like maybe I'm interested, or who can get that if I'm interested. We cannot hear you. You're on mute. Yeah, on the yeah.
Oh, sorry. Like I was talking to Kwame the other day, it's just a way of motivating someone who is here today. For those who are community builders or a part of AWS, you know what it takes to get this cup. So I'm going to be giving it out to anybody. I'll give it out to Kwame. He will decide what to do with it and how or what the selection criteria would be for someone
Okay.
to, get this AWS.
All right.
Still brand new, as you can see. I haven't pulled anything from it. It's a cup I also got from some community I won within AWS through the Community Builders program. So it's right here. It's a very prestigious one. Those within the AWS community know the value. So
Yes.
before
No.
I'll leave it to you.
Oh, thanks. That's great. I'll make it simple. Everyone who is registering for the next AWS cohort, we're going to do a draw, and whoever comes in picks it up. So I think, unfortunately, she has to leave us due to time and other commitments she has to attend to. I think just before you go, I just want everyone to laugh at this. This is Shu. Don't mind her sitting quiet. She can be crazy. And of course, this is the lovely family. You can see Moam was the one speaking. These two babies were born right here with Cloud before Yeah, so they know much about the cloud. They are reading the cloud book, and I think it's the questions they started asking that made the mom bring this
Right.
up. Right, and then Shu, as a diplomat here, it's just been so amazing listening to you this evening. So I think let's leave that. And we are going. We would have loved to have you longer, but yeah, it's been.
I can take a few questions because I see some
All
hands
right.
up, so I can take a few
Okay.
questions.
Okay, that's great. So please, you have the opportunity. Make use of it before she goes. So if you have a question or a comment, I noticed a comment. So Barry's here. You said delete social media. Okay, surely if you want to concentrate, delete social media. Someone is asking the meaning of WirfonCloud. We are going to come back to that shortly. But if you have a question for Shu, this is the time before she goes. Titus, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, actually, just want to appreciate you for what you're doing for WirfonCloud. I would love each time. I think this should be the second time you have been here to give us testimony and try to encourage some of us who are just coming from non-IT background.
I think Titus is
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the presentations that you always come and share with us here is part of the reasons why each time I see, when I heard they say you're coming to share it, always motivate me. One thing I want to say is that, most people, they always talk about job seeking interviews and so on, the process from starting learning right up to going to the job and even grabbing the job. There's always that fever along the line. But there's this other part of it that I wanted to find out. Can imagine that you have successfully got a job and then they say you have to start work tomorrow. You can imagine how the environment looks like. What do you feel starting work tomorrow when it's something new for you? How challenging is it? How do you feel to start work the next day when you don't actually know what you're going to do at job?
Yeah, that's a good question. So one thing that helped me when I got the role was to go back to the job description, and I made sure that I restudied everything that was required. I reviewed all my migration projects that I had taken. I redid some of the hands-on labs because I knew it was something that was going to be very heavy on migration. So that's something that is going to be very helpful. However, anytime you join a job, I think you have about 2 to 3 months for you to actually start doing the job. The very first month here, I don't know what the experience is in the other places, but the very first months here within the US, Canada, you have a lot of training, understanding the company, and that is enough time for you. Onboarding, exactly. That is enough time for you to understand what your job would require. I asked a lot of questions to my team members to understand the kind of job they do and what they would actually need me to do. Even to my manager, anytime I met her, I would always ask, okay, so what exactly are the pain points and how can I help the company? When they tell me this, that is how I tailor my studying. I make sure that I tailor my studying to what the job required. Then they had a lot of training sessions as well. So did a lot of training, sorry. Did a lot of training just to understand really what the job is. So focus on looking at the job role for what you are recruited in. Talk to your team members during your onboarding sessions, and then learn a lot. Take as many hands-on labs as you can that are suited for what you are going to do at the time. Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that answered your question, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hope that answered.
Yeah. In Germany, it takes about 6 months. They always tell us one thing, and people already make good use of that. Hanifa and Limye, hello, our cloud babies.
Hello.
And for those who have children, we have always made WirfonCloud friendly, so we know the challenges people have. So never be feeling like a child will be disturbing you at WirfonCloud. We have always welcomed kids, right? So
yeah.
Right. So, any other person with a question? Is there a question or something you need Shu to answer before she?
Yeah, just to mention, search hand has been up for a while. There's burning question.
I'm afraid I'm sure that was an old hand. Serge, is that a question?
Yeah. I've had a couple of questions, but Ban, you did cover most of them. So I kept on putting it on and off.
Okay.
But the last one I have for Lady T is
Lady S.
Lady S. Sorry, yes, Lady S. Yeah, it's you did talk about programming language. Talked about Python at a certain point, and we are trying to demystify the cloud. And most people are always scared of all of these programming languages right from Adam. And when we're coming to the cloud, we have the feeling like we're going to face it one way or the other. In your day-to-day job, how often do you use these programming languages? Because you said like you do a lot of you build a lot of
Consulting,
consulting, architectural kind of building.
design.
Yes, design. So for the ladies who are here who don't like all this scripting and all the rest, how can they feel like this is something that is doable, and how do you deal with it in your day-to-day job as a solutions architect?
Yeah. So, to be very honest, since I started, I have not touched on a programming language. However, I know that in the days coming when we've migrated to the cloud, I'm going to probably need to use Terraform, which is infrastructure as code. And not that you'd necessarily need to or have to have coding knowledge, but it just helps sometimes. Fifi, listen, Fifi, mama. It just helps sometimes that when you understand what a line of code is, and you're going to be using infrastructure as code, which is something that in today, I'm not sure you'll be able to avoid it in your interviews. Terraform, CloudFormation, right? When you understand what a line of code is, it becomes easier for you to then use those platforms to configure a resource or spin up an instance on EC2 if you decide to use that. So I still highly encourage because it would give you an upper hand in your application processes. Sometimes when you're applying for jobs, you see they're asking you for Linux. They're asking you for Terraform. They're asking you for CloudFormation. And for you to understand this, just understanding Python, which Ban gives us an introduction course in WirfonCloud, understanding Linux as well, just which is command line basically. Yeah. Just understanding how to change a directory, move from one to, it really, really, really helps, and it gives you an upper hand in your interviews and on the job. So you can decide not to do it, but my advice would be learn little things like Linux and Python. When people hear coding, they become very scared that you're going to go deep into Java like software engineers. No, that's not what it is. You just need to know the basics. And Brother Femi, correct me if I'm wrong, you just need to know the basics.
Definitely, yeah.
To get going. And that's why we give you just these introductory courses in
WirfonCloud here.
In WirfonCloud, yeah.
Right. And I think I'll just go ahead and answer for that. Remember, Shu is an enterprise architect, but if you pick a role like a cloud engineer, DevOps engineer, infrastructure engineer, Kinyo is here, you definitely need to know Terraform. You definitely need, if you're a developer, of course, you definitely need to then know Python, right? So it's going to depend on your role. And if you, and I think there are some people here who came in, they knew nothing about Python. We did a Python workshop. I wish there was someone. Is there anyone who wants to say something about the Python workshop we did, right? I know that we have a lot of shy speakers, but let me see who's going to not disappoint, right? You came in, you didn't know anything about Python. I know that I've keep advising that people think that you cannot learn programming in one one course. It's a continuous process because programming is so big, but you need to be able to just understand the flow of code, right? Which is what we try to achieve, and you could already see how to use it in translation. Is there someone who wants to comment about their experience learning Python before we move ahead? 5-10 seconds. Let's see. Anyway, so
Hello.
hello, Magdalene. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you. It was very amazing presentation, the way you taught us, explain patiently, because I learned before I came, I was doing something, the way they were rushing, teaching. You took something that they use 5 hours, some 3 hours, you use 2 weeks to it was so good the way. Because of that, now I took the course that you sent the promotion, and I can see I through the course I can really apply some, not all, but your teaching, everything was so good. The way, oh, I really love it. I give you plus, and I say God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Because I was really afraid, but now I have joy to check the YouTube. When I see it, all those fear is vanishing. So I'm, I'm really,
You are coding.
yeah.
That's good. The key thing
Thank
was to
you.
have that fundamentals and take away that fear, right?
Yeah.
And Magdalene didn't have a background in IT. You don't,
No.
right? So yeah, so that's what we are saying. We demystify all those fear that programming is not complex. If you can think logically, you can program. The problem is people are just too afraid. So thanks for that, Fandy's commenting, Magdalene. So let's go back to questions again for Shu. I'm looking at the chat. Lady N has posted feedback for our session today. Lady N, you want to say something on that before we take the last question?
Yeah, just that please, your feedback is very important to us. I mean, in order for us to make better sessions in case if you have some recommendations. So please fill in the form below. I've sent it again and give us your feedback. And thank you very much, Auntie Shu, for, as I say, Auntie Shu, for the presentation, for your sharing your experience with us. I think I learned so much, especially when it comes to rejections in interviews. Don't keep one aside because you're having a high optimistic level in one company and you forget the others. And also, yeah, know how to handle rejections. It happens. Thank you so much.
That auntie title is making me look old.
Thank you.
If Lady N called you auntie and is making you look old, I'm going to call you grandson. How about that?
Please don't.
Right. I have one thing that stood out for me from everything you presented and your experience. The fact that you're able to be disciplined, and the fact that you could commit to your goals and achieve them, and also not letting the pressure of having everything now burn you out. So those are the things that when people want to change careers, they seem to want it now than when they are actually ready to get to pursue that particular career. So thank you for sharing. I hope if anyone is on this platform today and they are keen to listen, please know that this platform is well equipped to take you from ground level to a very high professional level, to an efficient agile scrum master, to an agile scrum master, to a solutions architect, to a cloud engineer, whatever you want to name it. This community right here has all the skills and all the experience you need. Now, Lady S, who shared her experience, is one of those people that were building this. And in those first years, we're looking just to get people certified.
The number of certifications she has is scary to me, but we are going to get there, So let us build that community spirit and just look to invest in ourselves and in each other. Thank you very much for sharing.
Exactly. Baby steps. Thank you so much, Barry.
Great. And that was Barry, our Scrum Master here with WirfonCloud as well. She's also leading the Scrum Master courses. And she leads when we are doing the WirfonCloud project, she's the one leading the Scrum Master stands up. So and a Scrum Master professional also by job. So yeah, if you hang around here, yeah, Tio is not here, so no fighting. But let's not get into there. Someone, Yvonne, you have your hand up. Yvonne, please go ahead. And I think should just let us know when you're about when you can't no longer take continue. So Yvonne, come in, and then was that Yvonne? And then you were saying something, Lady N.
For me, just to add to what Barry said, Scrum, a lot of people might not understand what Scrum is or ignore how it impacts your work. But every day at my job, I have a stand-up meeting. We have retrospectives, we have reviews, we have is it presentations? I forgot what it is, but we practice Scrum to the core. And almost every IT company today is practicing Scrum. So it's really nice that we have Barry who helps within WirfonCloud to bring that daily stand-up practice or habit that a lot of companies are practicing to do today.
Yeah, thanks for giving that experience that you have it also on the job. I think that's something some people who are technical always think you won't need it, but for anyone who definitely stays here and really is serious, you'll be part of WirfonCloud projects after your solutions architect associate and you experience that. So yeah, and the other things which were wonderful we have not mentioned, but you will know due to time, we'll mention that. But I see Yvonne, your hand is up. Then after that, Serge, Yvonne, you want to come in? And Rosemary. Yvonne, you are on mute if you are speaking. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Great.
Lady S,
Yes.
I'm so motivated after listening to you. And I really wish, can you give me a little bit of tip how you coped with all this with a motherhood call? Because I'm really thinking about us abroad. Motherhood is like something, it's a challenge. So when I wanted to go into IT, the main thing I'm thinking about, how am I going to do with the kids? Looking at it, your kids are almost the same age with mine, and I was really giving up. I was like, what am I doing when you have the same like me? I'll really be happy if you give me a little bit of tip on that. How did you cope?
So the video could just tell you how they kept popping in and out when I'm studying. That's basically part of what I just accepted. The fact that I have kids and they're going to come in and out and they'll distract anytime they want to. So I just made them part of my study schedule. And even though I had to make a lot of sacrifice with my husband, we mostly studied at night when they were sleeping. That was a sacrifice that at the time we had to make, because during the day you're working, say they're in school, in between our breaks, pick them up from school whenever they come back. In the evening, we give them dinner, whatever, while they're playing, we're taking time to study, or whenever we're cooking, we're taking time to study. And that's why I spoke about downloading Udemy on my phone, because whenever we were on the move, whenever I was in the kitchen, whenever I took them out to play, those were the times that I focused a lot on trying to learn something new. Then in the evening when we came back and they went to bed, we had our WirfonCloud study time during that period. And after we studied, I think our classes ended like 1:30. We took another 30 minutes or an hour, to brush up some little things and then go to bed. So that was just some of the things that helped us. And when we were studying with the WirfonCloud book, that's one thing that also pushed me to write it because, like I said, I made them part of my study schedule. We will talk to them while I'm explaining to my husband or he's explaining to me. We'll talk about about cloud computing, use different terms, and they eventually started picking up these terms. And it was from there they started asking questions. And I was like, okay, I'll just do a storybook for you. When we're studying, you're reading your storybook or you're reading something else. You just make them part of your schedule. It's difficult, I can't lie. And I understand completely where you're coming from. I might be talking and it feels like it's easy. There are times where I almost wanted to give up, but I had a community that was supportive. And at the time, I didn't even have someone here to help with the kids. So it was a very difficult time, but it's just determination and discipline, consistency, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just add that, Yvonne, I know I can remember some of the times you had to do your presentation and we'll wait for the baby to sleep, right?
To sleep, exactly.
Yeah.
So
You'll
I
be
had also
patient.
a very,
Right.
very, very supportive group.
Yes.
Very supportive group. Sometimes I'm breastfeeding with the camera off while giving my presentation, you know. And there was, I remember a night where we actually had to sing a song for the baby to sleep
Yes,
together
I
in class,
remember.
you
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
it was also
Yeah.
a very supportive group. And
Yes.
that was very helpful.
Right. And then also to add, Yvonne, the benefit that comes after, and Shu, correct me if I'm wrong, you work remotely, right? So you have enough time. Or is it hybrid? How is your current work schedule?
Remotely.
Okay, Yvonne, you work
Italia,
remotely. But Shu work, okay. So you see, most people, when you have the job, you end up working remotely, also same thing. So it's a sacrifice you make after some time, and then you get really comfortable. I think Serge, I'm coming back to you. Yvonne, is there any other question before? Is that all?
No, Christopher. No, thank you so much, Lady.
Okay, great. Serge, I'm coming to you, but let's hear from Rosemary, who had not asked a question before. Rosemary, go ahead. Okay, you have to unmute. Another baby. We have another baby. You have to unmute.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry.
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is thank you, Lady S. This is such a warm and mind-blowing presentation, paving the way for us, especially we'll be starting our AWS next week. So the aspect of discipline, determination, setting goals, consistency, I think it's going to help us a lot. This is such a wonderful presentation for us to start going with what we're going to see from next week. Thank you so much. That's all I have.
No, that's nice. And go ahead, Shu.
You're welcome. No, I was just saying you're welcome. And I see she has a baby as well. Congratulations.
Right. Yeah. She's one of
Thank you.
Yeah, Rosemary, I cannot stop saying this. She's one of those who joined the Linux courses and she passed her Linux certification. So she has got from zero IT. Now she has a Linux certification, was part of the networking and part of the Python. And I have no doubts that with this effort, things will work out well. So keep going.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. Thanks to you as well. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Great. Serge, coming, please. I think I was just saving you for the last, not for the last, but yeah, Serge, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. First of all, I'll still congratulate Lady S for her achievements. And the question that I wanted to ask has already been asked by one of the participants. But what I wanted to also add was I think I joined the community around 2020. So I've been in and out. I think, Van, you and I took a Linux course for the second time around November where Rosemary had her certification.
Yeah.
And Lady S had also taught me one of the practitioner classes, like very early in the morning. So for her to achieve all that she's actually had right now, I'm very, very impressed. And some of us who are doubting Thomas going in, going out, going left and right, I think it's time for me especially to really be as focused as she was, be more committed, communicate more with the community, because great people have come around. People have had jobs ever since I joined, and yeah, I'm more motivated today listening to her. And thank you again for your time.
Nice to hear
I
that.
do remember your search. I remember quite well, and I'm happy this was motivating to you. I know one thing I usually say is some people, not that this applies to you, I'm just saying, some people look at the time and think it's a very long time. It's not. Because when you look back at what you've achieved and you look at the time past, you're even not able to believe how much you've achieved within that period of time, right? Time goes by so fast. Before you know it, it's July. And if you're lucky by then, you would already have your solutions architect associate certification and gain so many skills. And like I would repeat again, a lot of you would gain not just the certification. If you do the please listen, you gain not just the certification, but the fact that they incorporate projects twice every week, you would gain the skills that are needed for you to jump immediately into the market instead of waiting for a long time to get other certifications like some of us did. So I think this one is it's a really great opportunity for you to join and be consistent, particularly with the labs. If you want to miss anything, don't miss the labs. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Thanks for emphasizing that again. Yeah, I don't know any other comments. Please really remember to fill the feedback form. We always ask for this because that's another form of engaging with us, telling us what's right. You always hear me repeat this. So if you don't feel it, I'll be coming back, especially in our Telegram groups, that those who attended should complete it so that we can be better tomorrow. That's always our focus. I noticed Comtea said, I think we should make it mandatory for all the cloud babies to attend every meeting. Yes, we always say, ask people to bring their children, and we try, at times for the classes, we just try to make sure that maybe we minimize the noise so that people understand, but we do know the challenges people who have kids are having when they're also trying as well to learn. So yeah, we'll try to make that. I don't know. I see that I'm trying to look. There are some of WirfonCloud instructors here. Mike is here. Leonard is here. I think Kini, our lab instructor, is here. I'm just going to leave the floor open. If anyone wants to come in and make a comment, as we're rounding up, many of you have been patient. I really do appreciate it. We are only 15 minutes past the time, but since you are here and this evening is for you, yeah, that's why we're staying since you are here. So yeah, Barry is here as well, and I see your hand is up. Barry, come in and then let's go ahead.
Right. Thank you, Presi. I was just hoping you'd lay more emphasis on the consulting group, because I remember Serge, I spoke with Serge some time back, and he might have been interested. I'm not sure if he still is on the call or if he's still interested. He would like to know more about that, and I think it would benefit other people who are on the call as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah, let me start from there. So what we do at WirfonCloud Consulting, Leonard is here. I want to let Leo say Leo leads that. Yeah, definitely I will. Leo, if you are hearing me, please go ahead and do that, and I'll add if there's anything left.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Please let me see how I can put my.
Yes. So Leonard is WirfonCloud Consulting lead. So tell us, what do we do at WirfonCloud Consulting for those maybe interested?
I want to say good evening, everyone. Good evening, Van. Good evening, Lady S. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Also inspiring. So filled with a lot of trials and how you pull through. Thank you so much for giving that wonderful presentation. Okay, to enlighten more on the WirfonCloud Consulting. It's just part of with the WirfonCloud community as well. So this is another arm which came about to give the people a direction. When I say direction, what do I mean? Okay, with consulting, sometimes when people came to this WirfonCloud consulting, WirfonCloud community, they finish the solution architect, so they become confused on what next to do, which step to take the next. They don't know where they can put their feet, so they don't know what they can do. So some people they lose focus, and they don't know what to do again. They're just like kind of in a confused scenario, not knowing what to do next or which step to take next. So WirfonCloud is here to guide anybody who finishes, and then we kind of have a one-on-one meeting with this particular person who has gained these certifications in order to assess, to know how capable, which technologies do you know, like your strengths, your weaknesses, and then we can see how we can work from there in order to maybe enlighten you towards um, the road so that you can be able to choose your path or like the pathway which you want to follow. So along the line, if you know a pathway in which you want to follow, then we'll help you in aligning skills which are related to that particular role in which you want to obtain within the computing space or the cloud space. And helping this also like gives you that kind of advantage. And as well, if you're working on projects, you also have the possibility to jump into and get the live or get the feel in first hand working with projects. That's also very important. And then for those who already have like know their directions, so have a very good skills or have their skills all set. WirfonCloud consulting team is going to help you in two things. So we gather this information. So we have to know who is within the team. Then we take this information and we can outsource to a third party partner or a third party company who is looking for talent within the WirfonCloud company consulting. So we can like sell you out to another company. And if we also have a project in which we're doing, so this another thing is we can also keep your information. And if we have a project which WirfonCloud Consulting is executing, then you will have to know also who is capable of doing what and what are the strengths, what are the the most prominent aspects of these persons so that we can know which particular sector or which particular role to place the person in any particular project that it's going on within the WirfonCloud Consulting. This is just a startup, and this is still our first batch in which we're going through. So we're still work in progress, and we have quite a handful of members already who are already in the community. Some came without knowing where they wanted to be, right? And I believe as they're going through, they're already finding themselves or on which arm or which cloud computing career they will want to take as time goes on, because we also define these goals on important skills to achieve with respect to the role in which you'll be performing in your as a career path which you choose. So definitely that's I think that's just a little introduction you just have to do with the cloud consult with WirfonCloud Consulting. So when someone joins the forum, then they have more in-depth knowledge about what we do. But this is just the surface of what the consulting arm is all about, helping the WirFon, the people who complete their projects or complete their certifications to maybe have a better pathway in order to proceed with their career. And you can see from Lady Ed's presentation, she finished and then she didn't know. It's like she is just such a strong lady that she also had to go various pathways before she could even find the road. So there are not so many strong people who can go through that pathway. Some even get the certifications and then they kind of fall out because they don't know where to continue or what to do next. So they kind of just abandon it and then they stop halfway. So this comes in to help and eliminate these constraints, like people who are in the community who maybe reach a certain stage and then they give up. So this helps to cover that gap and give people a pathway to follow with their career.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
I
much.
hope that
Yeah.
can explain.
Right. Thank you very much. I think the key point, as you have all heard from Leo, what we focus on especially is personal development. WirfonCloud is a startup, and we are looking forward to definitely be executing projects. And one of the things we realize is if we build people, right, they would in turn build WirfonCloud Consulting. That's what we are already seeing with Thierry doing on the ground, especially in Douala and Yaoundé. Those are things, signs of things to come. And maybe we may want to hear, Eric, if you are here and if you want to speak up. I know you had your certification. We had the one-on-one talk and try to figure out, do you want to make a comment as after joining with WirfonCloud Consulting? What is your feedback you may want to share to someone who wants to join? Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was already working, so
That's okay. Right.
Yeah, it's been like a roller coaster, seriously. And I would say WirfonCloud has really helped me because I was kind of like doing 3 jobs. It's schooling, working, and also studying. But WirfonCloud was kind of like a backbone, because even when I don't work, there were always like materials and highlights that they always tell me like, okay, because I always had like the Telegram, I always take all the updates and what I needed to do. So sometimes when I like give up, because there were times like I gave up, but I will see people like that, but why am I giving up? Where there is a group where you can easily get the material. And it was very helpful because I had a team from Cloud, people that we have never met before, but they were kind of like telling me that don't give up. So, and it's also a person who encouraged me in WirfonCloud that we have been studying together. I believe that's Juliet. When she wrote, I think she wrote just 1 week, and she told me, we have been studying together, and I wrote 1 week ago and I passed. You also can make it. So she gave me that courage because I thought I was planning to write ending January. This is the time I was planning to write. But she told me that I would make it, that I should go for it. And I did. And successfully I made it. So I will say it's really been challenging, but belonging here has really been helpful. And I see a lot of potential already here. Like now I'm working, but I'm in the meeting because there are things that they say. I might not partake always all the time, but there are things that they say and I pick up from there, and it gives me the zeal to like know there are people who are looking on you that don't even know it, that people are expecting much. Because when I have people that expect something from me and they push me forward to do it, I make sure I do my best. So I would say it's really been a joy being part of WirfonCloud, and I'm going to do best because I have a lot of people I look up to already.
Great, great. And what about your experience after we had the one-on-one talk in consulting to try to like figure out your roadmap? I think for some people, one whom you want to join WirfonCloud Consulting, how did that help you? And then with what you've been doing so far?
Well, that was really an insight also because I believe you really guided me because I was kind of like confused on what I wanted because I had so many things in my brain. So the one-on-one kind of like gave me a guide on what I needed to do and how I needed to do it, and the exams I needed to follow and the things I needed to study. So it was really helpful. And right now I have a path because there was a time I was confused on what to do, on which exam to go for, because I just thought like maybe I'll go for everything. But like right now, I'm already working on like the practical part. I believe I've forgotten her name. She talk about the game.
Tatiana?
Yeah, Tatiana. The gaming part of it, that's what I do every day now. Like kind of like the practical part, trying to build architecture. Every day I spend like 1 hour of it. And all this came from the guide that you gave me. These are the things that you need to do. So from the discussion with you, you gave me a plan. And I'm making sure I go with that plan. I might see other ideas. I'm like, no, I already have a plan. Let me not divert. So it kept me, I'm kind of like focused now because I have a plan for it. So the one-on-one was really helpful because it's a guide. It has given me a perfect plan on what I need to achieve. And I already, as you can see, I already did with the WirfonCloud Consulting. Also, it was really challenging, but thank God I finished most of the exams that you guys proposed me to write. Right now, I'm trying to work on a Kubernetes and Docker, which is still the guide that you gave me. So I'm just following the plan. After I achieve that, any other thing can come next. But now I'm following the plan that you gave to me one-on-one.
Right. Now, thank you very much for that feedback. I think that speaks for himself. We have heard from Cloud Consulting Lead. We have heard from one of our members. Barry, you are also one of our members. Did you want to say something?
Of course, I always have something to say. And one might wonder, why am I even in the WirfonCloud consulting platform when it's all these, everyone that has solutions architect and all of those other certifications that I don't have. You know, I got to know that in the AWS cloud, you don't have to be technical to be a valued and member of that community. So the WirfonCloud Consulting Group has given me an insight into so much more that I would not have done even if I wanted to discover it on my own. You know, so when I had my one-to-ones, I really didn't have any plan for this year, and that has given me a plan on how to get more value for myself and more value for the community. Again, in WirfonCloud, when you get knowledge, there's always a chance for you to come back and share that knowledge with everyone else to inspire people and all. So my take away from the WirfonCloud consulting group is being able to be guided by people that you trust that are looking for the best in you and also ready to invest in your success. It's not only about you having a path, it's about having someone to guide you and ensuring that you get to that successful point where all of you would celebrate. And then one other thing that motivated me in that group is people sharing their certifications, people sharing those little wins in their journey. There are so many resources that you get access to as part of the WirfonCloud Consulting that are AWS recognized. So when you get that and you share that you've completed a certain milestone in your journey, it motivated me so much that I had to do mine, even if I wasn't expected to do it as soon as that. So if you want to challenge yourself, if you want to adventure into other things, consulting platform would help you. You might not have what it takes to be there, but it doesn't hurt to ask questions. They would always direct you. And believe me, I trust that the people that are there are looking out for me more than I'm looking out for myself when it comes to my career goals and inspirations and aspirations. Lambara. Anyway, thank you guys. I'll stop here. Yeah.
No, thank you very much, Barry. Yeah. Yeah, so I know people will be asking, what does it take? We set the bar high for consulting because we just wanted to make sure that when you finish the Solutions Architect Associate, you have definitely built a solid foundation. Once you have that certification, you then get in there. But as we are working towards going into projects, Barry is one of, she has been doing a lot of Scrum Master. We know you could hear Shu already talking about the importance of Scrum. So Barry is coming in. She's interested in that technical part. So she's bringing her knowledge on Scrum, but while looking on the sales and and some aspects that we cannot see from the technical side. And she's doing that and while looking forward to do more also technically. And there is still room for anyone, but as we'll say, we're going to, because we have a whole set of people that have to run till November. We're closing that registration, but if you want to belong, you need to make sure you have a solutions architect associate. Because that tells us we are really, really ready. And for the things that you need to do, you need for the skills you need to succeed in the things we do, you need that foundation. So I'm looking forward to anyone interested. I think we have had a very great conversation for almost 2 hours. This has really been amazing. And I really want to thank especially the new people. I see Macrina is here. Hey, Maxeline, I didn't hear from you. You've been here. Can I hear your voice? You always speak when you come around. I didn't call you up. Maxeline, are you there? Okay, maybe she's Macrina. Do you want to say hi? I think I'm suspecting we meet. Is it Lenyo, Macrina Lenyo? I hope you can. I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure you came in when we started. Are people microphone shy? All right. I know that it's the first time for Shirley Macrina. I'm calling the new names that are here today, and and leaving those who maybe have not been, who have been here for a while now. So I think I don't see, I see announcements from Lady N. Lady N, you want to talk about the announcements, then we wrap up and go if there are new things you have posted for especially the new joiners.
Yes, for the new joiners, please remember to fill in the form, the registration form, because that's how we'll be able to get in contact with you. That's how you'll be able to also receive, know what we are doing and the courses you are doing, and you'll be able to join our Telegram group as well for more information and communication. So please don't forget to fill in the form. Very important. And the last but not the least, I see only one person has filled in the feedback survey for our session we just had. Uh, I was doing now I just got a lot of positive feedback, impressions. We want that also in the form. We want that in data form. So please uh fill in the form. It takes not up to 2 minutes to do so. So one person have done it. I expect to more than 30. I expect 30 because at some point we are 30 here. So please. So that thank you in advance.
All right. Great. Thanks for those announcements. And is there, if anyone has a comment or you want to feel come up and speak, please do so. If not, we'll be rounding up for today. The only announcement I can make is we're starting the architecting course. The essentials is starting on Tuesday, the 6th. Our classes are always in the morning, from 5 to 7 o'clock in the morning. We're going to have discussions, especially regarding logistics. There have been challenges for some people having classes in the mornings. So if you have contribution to make, let this group find out what works for them. So if you're in the cohort and you want to decide, that will be good. Lady S, I see
Yeah.
you are still here. Right, and I think you have seen the cup Lady S did show. So for people who register, you can just get automatic to belong to win that cup, and we'll then try to reach to you. So Lady S, I mean, it's been very wonderful having you. I just want to take this time to thank you again for taking this time of this Saturday, despite the busy schedule, and really share your story. Many people have really been empowered and inspired by this. So I just wanted you to say a final bye before we go, so that at least, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said everything I could say already, but
Yeah.
just I wish you all good luck. I'm here to help at any time. Feel free to reach out to me. We can connect on LinkedIn. Uh, Shoot me a message, even on the forum. I'm always available to help. One thing I do as well is, mentor a lot of women. So I'm a woman advocate. I'm not saying I'm a feminist. I might be sometimes, somehow, but I'm just saying, one who's a woman, I'm here. Even to the guys, I am here. Sorry, at any time. I think you just shared um, my LinkedIn
Share
here on the
and
chat.
blog.
So feel free to share, to reach out if you have questions and you just want to talk about something. As much as we're all busy, we can always make our time to help, because this is a community that contributed so much to my growth. So I'm always ready to give back. I'm talking with Ban about finding a way of helping drill through interview processes with others. So hopefully when that is figured out, we would have those sessions as well. when we do these things, because we also benefit from them, right? So it's not just you learning, it's everybody learning. Then the last thing, I'll be sharing a lot of resources as well on my YouTube. So one thing that would be really helpful and that will motivate me, if you can subscribe to the channel, it would be very, very helpful. I'll be sharing links every week. I'll share a new resource, and I know that it will be beneficial to you somehow, So I shared the link on to the channel as well already. So just subscribe, watch the videos. The blog is there. If you're in need of resources, watch the blog, and we're here to help, basically.
Absolutely.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Lady S. And you see the YouTube link near you, as we shared that. It will come again on the Telegram group. The blog is there. So go hit the subscribe button, follow Shu on LinkedIn, and yeah, we'll make it happen for you. With that, let's end here, and wishing everyone enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for making this happen. Without you, there wouldn't have been this session. For those of you, if you have to reach out to me, please do so. Let's catch up tomorrow. I know there are some few people I did promise to reach out to and I've not, but please reach out to me and we'll then see how to move on. Wishing everyone yeah, go ahead.
One last thing, just to motivate the ladies here. I just wanted to say that those of us who are ladies, we have an upper hand as well when you're applying for jobs, because companies are trying to meet their diversity and inclusion standards, which are being set worldwide. And each time they post jobs or companies are looking for jobs, there's a certain percentage that is accounted just for women. So use that and know that anytime you apply for a job as a woman, because you're a minority group, especially in the tech, because you're a minority group, and then especially a Black woman as well, you have an upper hand. So this should just be something that is motivating to you as you're applying. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Especially they are making technology kind of balance, not having only men dominated. So yeah, big advantage there for the ladies, and that's why you have so many groups that are focused on women. So that was the closing point. Have a good night, everyone. Take care, and see you again in our next sessions. Bye bye.
Thank you, Lady S. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.